With the ChessBase India Originals Death Match being just a few days away, I decided to review the games of Anish Giri and Vidit Gujrathi, the games they have played against each other. And there are quite a few games they have played, and today we are going to look at two of them to begin with. The first time that the two of them, Anish and Vidit, clashed against each other was in the Reykjavik Open. This happened in 2017 and Iceland. And Vidit was white, Anish was black. I believe at this point Vidit did work with Anish as his second, and so Vidit had 4 out of 4, and Vidit had white pieces, Anish had black pieces. So this is how the game went. Knight f3, knight f6, g3, d5, bg2, c5, castles, g6, c4, bishop g7, cd, knight d5, d4, takes, castles. So a symmetrical position. Vidit goes knight b5. He's attacking the piece on d5, bishop e6. He came back. Anish went back. He attacked, and they agreed to a draw here with threefold repetition. So that was their first encounter. Well, at that point, Vidit was 2670 rated, Anish was 2771. The tournament situation was such that Vidit was happy with a draw. Anish was happy with the draw because he had the black pieces. So both of them sort of agreed there. And then the next time they clashed was in the next year. This was at Tata Steel Chess. In fact, it was not even next year that they clashed. It was in 2019. So after 2017, they did not play against each other for a year and a half. And then in 2019, Vidit and Anish faced off once again. This time, Vidit had the white pieces. Anish was black. It was the 8th round, and we saw a very, very fighting game. So Vidit starts off with d4. Anish responded with knight f6, c4, e6, knight to c3, d5. We have the queen's gambit declined on the board. Bishop g5, bishop e7, e3, h6, bishop h4, castles, rook to c1. And now Anish chose the most, sort of not ambitious move here. There are other ways to play, like the Tartakova variation with b6. Although Vidit, by not developing his knight to f3, has taken the game into somehow not a very well-known territory. Anish took bishop takes, c5, knight to f3, pawn takes d4. And here Vidit had a choice to take with the knight or with the pawn. Usually taking with the knight gives you no advantage, but here white has a very solid lead in development, so maybe there is something here. Although such positions with Anish are very difficult to win. He would go bd7, next move knight c6, and it's somehow around equal. E takes d4 was played, and now knight to c6 and castles. And in this position, I want you to pause the video and think, what should black play here? So there are two ways to continue. One of them is b6. Kudos if you played that, because then bishop b7 and you complete your development. But if you chose the way Karpov played, then that is knight h5. And this was the famous game between Karpov and Korchnoi from Merano 1981. You attack the bishop here, and if it goes to g3, you just take it and you have the bishop pair. So takes, and now knight e7, and you want to control the d5 square here. Now in this position, we can just have a look at this famous Karpov versus Korchnoi, Korchnoi versus Karpov game, because I think it's very instructive the way Karpov played. Vidit went d5, so he immediately got rid of his isolated pawn. But bishop b3 was what Korchnoi played. He was more ambitious. Knight f6. Now there is no d5. Knight e5, bishop d7. These positions Karpov loves to play, and you should learn from him how to play. Rook c8, knight e4. He exchanged, put his bishop here, takes queen d6. You see how he's not putting the knight on d5, because that would allow somehow the exchange and to make the pawn structure symmetrical. But first he got the other rook in, and now rook b6, queen d7. Then he got the minor pieces traded here because the knight is clearly superior. And in such positions, when you have gotten rid of of the minor pieces and the opponent still has an isolated pawn, this game is quoted as a model example of that. And Karpov won with nice style. I mean, e5 was a big threat, so f4 was played, but in that he has weakened his own king. Takes this is very nice move at some point, e5, which came in. Takes, you can't take the rook, by the way, because this is hanging. So queen e8, beautiful move, threatening rook e1, and here queen c6 with a mate threatened. There was this staircase thing happening here, check, and also you can win the queen. So here Korchnoi resigned. So this was a very instructive game, but Vidit was like, I don't want to get into this. And I think this is one of Vidit's very good traits, that he does not like going into positionally slightly dubious situations. He is very, very alert before that. And that's also the reason why sometimes he has games where, you know, they end in dull draws, because he sees the danger approaching from far. He's a very classical player in that sense. So d5 was played, and I think the upside to it is that white will never suffer now, but the downside is that there is not much juice left in the game. So after takes, by the way, you could take with the knight as well, but after takes, knight f4, rook d8, bishop e6, black is doing completely fine. So bishop d5 was played, knight d5, knight to f6, knight c7, he took, rook takes, and it looks for a second that white is better here with all his pieces developed, but there are no real weaknesses to attack, and black is coming out pretty soon with bishop f5, takes, bishop e4. And you can see how Anish now just he didn't take here because the pawn structure matters little. The more important thing is the rook activity with the two rooks coming into the open file. So that's the reason why he first went rook fe8, now rook c7, b4. Okay, here if you take, I go first intermediate move, and I think again this is equal. So rook d5, p5. If you take on a2, I'll take on b7, a6, a4, takes, bishop f3, gf3, b6, and here, well, visually Anish seems to be slightly better because of his structure, but because white has such an active rook, there is nothing much happening, and the players agreed to a draw here. So those were the first two games between Vidit and Anish. The first one played in 2017. The second one played in 2019. So right now the score between the two is 1-1. We will be going through all the games that they have played, and there are plenty more with decisive result. Before I leave, I want to show you one picture from Reyjavik Open, which you can caption. I had back then also used this. It's a very nice one with it along with Anish's better half, so Pico, and well, there are many creative captions that can be done. So please do comment in the comment section, and please do make sure that you come for the ChessBase India Originals match that is happening between Vidit and Anish, the death match on 26th of July in Mumbai. And before that, on 25th, we also have a rapid event which is open to all, with a increment, with a 10-minute plus 2-second increment, and these are the prizes, and the top 10 players from that event get to play a tandem simul with Vidit and Anish. So they will be playing, both of them against 10 opponents and 10 more, so total 20 in all, but from the tournament 10 will be selected. I'll put the link of the article where all the information is there in the description, and one more link from where you can get the tickets. The cost of the ticket is 499 for just the death match, and if you also want to play the tournament, it is 799. So please be there. I promise you, you will have a great time over there. You will enjoy, and you will just, it would be one of the best chess spectacles out there. We have, until now, it's been 4 days since we have launched this event, in a way, like with the tickets and all, and we have had 300 people already who have bought the tickets. We are hoping to reach a number that is close to 1000, so please do support and be there. This is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.